All right, 2 racks of ribs here. We got our baby back and our St. Louis cut spare ribs. Which one should you really buy? In my opinion, it's this one, the spare ribs. The more juicy, more flavorful, bigger, as opposed to this one, which you pay the same money and you get less. But today is the final showdown. Let's try it out and see which one we like better. Let's do it. Man, that's good. So in my humble but correct opinion, the baby back ribs are vastly overrated. I don't understand why baby back ribs are such a thing in restaurants. They're not less expensive than spare ribs. They're less meaty. I understand, like people always say, oh yeah, the baby back ribs, baby back ribs. Now I did create one of the greatest commercials of all time with the Chili's jingle, which was amazing. But truthfully, I don't understand why they're pushed so much harder than the spare ribs. I mean, look at the difference. So the difference in the 2 cuts is you have the baby back ribs, which is more like the loin lean side, and you have like the spare ribs, which are more the, belly and fattier, juicier side. So I don't think it's for a health reason. Like, I just don't understand why this smaller rack of ribs is sold so often in stores. Like, I mean, this is a much better product and you could probably sell this for better dividends. I don't understand. I mean, maybe people like feeling like they can have a whole rack of ribs at dinner, or I don't know. It just to me feels like there's just not as much meat on it as there is on a rack of spare ribs. So, I mean, and again, because like I could understand if it was like a cost thing, but it's not. It's, I don't know. I don't know. The spare ribs, especially untrimmed, are even like less expensive. So is it the labor for the trimming of the spare ribs? You can buy it like this, a St. Louis cut, and save yourself the trouble. I mean, these are about the same. So I don't know. I'd be happy to understand what restaurant philosophy is pushing so hard the baby back ribs over the spare ribs. That said, I do want to see if I'm wrong. Like, is this a more quality experience? Or is this one? I mean, like, that's like people who choose filet over ribeye. I always choose ribeye over a filet, but I understand that people like the tenderness and a little bit more lean cut of the filet. So I don't know, not me though. I always want the ribeye. So I'm gonna give these my usual trim. These are already trimmed basically. I'm just gonna even them out a little bit, score the membrane, and then just make sure that I have like a good quality set of ribs. Some of these things down here, like it gets like pretty thin and flat, are gonna burn. So I'm gonna take that off. I'm gonna do that on both sets of ribs, and I'm gonna season them exactly the same, and I'm gonna cook them exactly the same to their appropriate doneness, so that we have an equal experience to try. Which is better, the spare rib or the baby back rib? Because I would love to know why people are so obsessed with the baby backs over the spares, when in my opinion the spares are so much better. I don't know. Okay, so let's get these trimmed up, seasoned up, and we'll get them on the pit. 225. Also, you don't have to pull your membrane off. It's fine. Do it like this. Cook your ribs properly. It'll get nice and crispy. It'll be just part of the whole rib experience. If you're at home and you want to, fine, go for it, but you really don't need to, promise you, because the experience is gonna be great as long as you cook your ribs right. If you ever go to like big pit houses, they don't cut it off. Ain't nobody got time for that. All right, I try to get about 11 or 12 ribs out of each rack if I can, well, at least out of the spare rib rack. Basically, I go to where I get to like the first small bone, where this might be okay, but it just gets very thin and it's probably gonna burn like on a brisket. So I'm trimming it off. I want a nice even set of meat. I want it to be as even as possible all the way throughout the rack of ribs. This little piece here I always cut off the top. That way it doesn't bubble up. Again, to create a more even rack. There we go. Okay, good. Good to go, nice and fatty, nice and delicious. 12 ribs on that one. Now that's still good meat. You can make those as pit snacks, so don't sleep on them. Okay, here I'm just gonna trim off this last little bone here, but leaving as much meat as possible. Perfect. All right, that way we've got a nice even set. Now we're gonna season these the exact same way. 60-40 mix of kosher salt and 14 mesh ground black pepper, and a little bit of the old black belt trick, which is to put some celery seed in there for texture. We have that plus the Traeger pork and poultry rub. This is a good rub, nice big, a little bit of sweetness, but not too much. Really brings out the flavor. And it is not very powdery, it's granulated, so it's nice. So let's get these seasoned up. Don't be shy in your pork seasoning. Pork can take a lot of it. Okay, let's get these on the pit. Normally I would cook these at 250 on the Old Country gravity fed, but today I'm actually kind of doing a double duty video here. So this one's gonna be 225. So we're gonna do these nice low and slow. That smoker particularly is a good for 250, but if I'm doing any other smoker, and even that one sometimes, I always start off my ribs at 225. So today, 225, we're gonna let these go for about 3 to 4 hours. We'll check them and then we'll check on the process. So let's get them on the smoker. Okay, time to check the spare ribs versus the baby back ribs. All right, let's see how they're doing here. Okay, still feels a little tight. No problem, it's been 3 hours. I had to check those, so I'm checking these here. Fat's not quite rendered, but getting there. All right, let's see. Let's take a look at this guy. Looking good. Here's the back. Got some good color there. I'm gonna tempt these guys just for kicks and grins to see how we're doing. 174, 173, 146. Over here we've got 172 and 160. All right, so I'm gonna flip these guys. Give me a little rotation. I'm gonna give these guys another hour, see where they end up, and then we'll get them inside for wrapping. All right, these guys are temping at right about 185 to somewhere between 180 and 190 across the board. This is perfect. So these guys are gonna be ready to go. We're gonna get them in some foil, tallow, wrap them up, back on the smoker to finish the cook. Okay, these guys are temping like in the 190s. I'm gonna go 30 more minutes and then we're gonna pull these out and let them rest. Okay, first up, we're gonna try the baby back rib. Looks great, has great color, a lot of good smoke ring here. Looks like a lot of great smoke penetration. And I took the biggest rib I could find out of the rack. So let's see how it tastes. I mean, it looks good, so let's see how we did. That's pretty good. I think that it probably overcooked a little bit in way of that it's fall off the bone and I have a nice clean bite. But I wouldn't be sad if somebody came over and I served them this rib at all. They would say it's fall off the bone, it's delicious. And it is, it's pretty good. But there's not a lot of meat on the bone. And I think even being one of the meatier bones, there's just not a lot there. So to me, that's a little discouraging. But I mean, I guess if you like that, it's a smaller portion. But all right, so good first start. Now let's try the spare rib. Yeah, okay. To me, this is a much better bite. I think because of the size and the scale, it allows the flavors to balance better between the smoke, the salt and pepper, and the actual meat itself, where this one's fine and it's really good, but this one's better. It's kind of an intangible. I realize it's not a very scientific answer, but I'm gonna go with that. It's the balance. This one is good, very smoky, but the flavors kind of like mesh in a weird way that's not like quite cohesive, where this one feels like it's a perfect balance. I also happen, I mean, again, I'm not gonna critique the cook here. I mean, I feel like that with a more lean cut, you kind of have to overcook it. I mean, it's still good. Again, I would serve this and be happy with it. Well, be happy that like nobody else would know the difference. But I think to me, this is a much better bite of barbecue. It's got just an incredible balance of flavors. It's got a perfect blend of like fat render and juices. Like this is really good. So all in all, I would have to say that this is the winning rib. And intangible or not, I just feel like these are not the same. They're a little bit drier. They are good and I would serve them, but you can see just like in looking at them here up close that these feel a little drier and not quite as tender and juicy. And you kind of have to overcook it to get it fall off the bone. This one feels tender, juicy, perfect structure out of the bite. Like I could eat about 15 of these immediately. So I am thrilled with the way these came out, and my assumption is correct. The spare rib is a better option than the baby back rib. I don't know why the restaurants insist on always doing baby back ribs. It's not one-to-one. There are many restaurants that serve spare ribs, but by and large, at every restaurant, it's the baby back, and you come over like, oh, we're doing baby back ribs. Outside of the greatest jingle of all time, maybe with the Chili's baby back ribs jingle, the actual meat far better on the spare rib. If you have a different opinion, let me know. I'd love to hear and compare notes and see what you did. Which one do you like better? Thanks guys, look forward to seeing you in the next one.